Hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash day friend's favorite content creator. And I just want to say that these people, these anti-woke, these right-wing conservative grifting ass people are losers. They are losers who do nothing but projection. They will sit here, tell you to your face, oh my God, the left, these dirty leftists, these people on the left, they're so weak. They're such snowflakes. They're such babies. That is all true about those people saying that. Watch this.
Look right here, and I'll show you. Like, people think I'm fucking crazy. I'm not. Look at this. People wonder, are tax dollars used to promote wokeness in video games? Answer is yes. USAID paid Politico millions of dollars a year to write pieces like this one, which promotes diversity and describes Gamergate as disinformation and harassment campaign. So this is the thing, guys. I want these people to suffer because that's what they did to me. I want to set an example. Get rid of these people. Put them like completely out of their jobs. Get rid of them. Make an example of them. Say, listen, this is what happens. Gamers rise up. What goes around? Yep, what goes around comes around. And we're coming. I'll tell you that. Cry more? We don't need to anymore. That's for them. So, yeah.
You tell me, how did... Well, first off, no. The government did not pay Politico $8 million in order to write articles about Gamergate and falsely call it a harassment campaign. It was a harassment campaign. And if you read the article, it literally talks about where the money went. It went to the subscription to like Politico's like premium channel, essentially so they could get up-to-date newswire information. It is no different than them subscribing to like, I don't know, Amazon's AWS service, right? This means they gave Amazon $60 billion. It is just so they can keep their fingers on the pulse when it comes to news in real time. That's it. And both people, as a Democrats and Republicans, have used that. You can watch Philly D. Franco's video on that, or you can fucking go to Snopes and see that for yourself. That's not what happened.
USAID has been propping up sites like Politico, giving them $8 million in taxpayer funds in just one fiscal year, meaning the Politico is state-funded media stealing from you, the taxpayer. Except that isn't really accurate, and the truth, it turns out, is much less sinister. So let's walk through it. This whole debacle, it started when Politico was late with the payroll this week. And that, thanks to what they said, was a technical error that was resolved by the end of the day, so everyone got paid. But then what we saw is that with that, you had posts including screenshots from a government website tracking federal spending showing that Politico received $8 million from the government in the 2024 fiscal year, with former Fox News producer Kyle Becker sharing these screenshots and saying, fun fact, Politico received USAID funds, or seemingly claiming that the $8 million came from USAID alone. And then in a follow-up post, he connected Politico's late payroll with the recent crackdowns on USAID's spending. And from there, the situation just exploded, with big names on the right chiming in and spreading this far and wide. And you even had Trump on Truth Social this morning saying that billions have been stolen from federal agencies like USAID and gone to, quote, fake news media as a payroll for creating good stories about the Democrats, and then adding, this could be the biggest scandal of them all, perhaps the biggest in history. But then, with all this, there's been a whole lot of pushback against this narrative. With, for example, the Washington Post pointing out that if you look deeper into the government spending website, you'll see that USAID gave Politico only $44,000 during the fiscal years of 2023 and 2024, right? And that was reportedly for subscriptions to an energy and environment publication that the company produces. And then that $8 million, right, the amount the entire government spent on Politico last year, most of that reportedly came from contracts from subscriptions to their premium service. In fact, you had the Post reporting that just days ago, the White House's Office of the National Cyber Director signed a $35,000 contract for a Politico Pro premium subscription for 15 users, or with that service tracking, analyzing, and providing updates on the entire public policy landscape. I mean, for example, the Post reports that committees led by Republicans dropped $500,000 on Politico subscriptions in the first 9 months of last year, with 38 Republicans in the House reportedly spending $300,000 for subscriptions within the same time period. But follow to stay in the loop.
But this is what I mean when I say these people are losers. They have unironically become that meme from Batman Beyond when that guy's like, with the glass ceiling broken, like the most oppressed class can now rise to the top, like gamers. I use that shit in my Gamers Are Soft Babies video, and I did not think it was going to be an evergreen video. Most of the videos I've made recently have become just evergreen. I could literally just replay them all the time, and that would counter any further point. But that would be boring. And I always want to bring something new to the table, right? So I want to talk about Asmongold for a little bit. Because in that clip, he is talking about how they made him suffer. Asmongold, your suffering is self-inflicted. In fact, the only reason why the government would be interested in you is because they want to find out if they can make a serum for bloodborne pathogens or airborne pathogens, like a vaccine for that based off of your blood, considering that you live in a fucking crypt, that plague-ridden environment that you've created for yourself. Or they might be interested in you because they want to turn you into a real-ass Resident Evil BOW. Other than that, who has made you suffer? Who told you to not go to the dentist? Who told you that showering was optional? Who told you that? You did that to yourself. Self-inflicted harm, bro. No one did that to you. How are you suffering? You are, unfortunately, a millionaire with a large audience. How do they make you suffer? Did they run you out of an industry? Did they dox you? Did they consistently harass you? Because that's what happened to the women who were targeted in Gamergate, and to the women to this day. To this day, people still bring up Anita Sarkeesian. To this day, people still talk about Zoe Quinn. And now we have newer targets, right? You have these guys who are so obsessed with harassing women that even when the women are no longer in the field that they were harassing them in, they still have to mention them. So again, how did you suffer? You didn't suffer. No one forced you to play games you didn't want to play. They didn't take away your big titty anime girls or anything like that. In fact, they've increased productions of that. But that is the core of these guys' identities as losers. They have the true victim complex. They have that persecution complex. They have to be the underdog, even when they are seemingly on top. These guys, not saying Asmongold in particular, but those who follow him are people like Grums and like the right-wing guys. They were ecstatic when Trump won the presidency. We won. DEI is dead. We can't stop winning. And yet all they do is bitch. Bitch, 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 bitch. Non-stop. There is no satisfaction for them because they need to constantly have an enemy that is both powerful and both weak and stupid. They need that. They can't just take the win. They have to be the victims. Again, Asmongold is a millionaire. He's saying he suffered. He wants those people to lose their jobs because he suffered and he wants them to suffer, which is another aspect of their personalities. They are vindictive. They're the kind of people where, like, for example, I can get a little bit more political here, right? The student loan forgiveness. You had a lot of conservatives upset at the mere idea. You had Republicans blocking that. Something that would benefit literally thousands of people, would free up their money so they could actually contribute more to the economy, which would be a net positive. They were upset about that because, well, you should have taken out that loan, as if we don't have predatory student loan practices in this country. But you shouldn't have taken out that loan. I paid back my loan, and since I had to suffer, you should suffer. They just want people to suffer. They're as vindictive as fuck. And Asmongold is the perfect encapsulation of that. All he wants is people to go through pain. That's it. He literally gets joy from watching people get beaten up. Again, if you watch my video talking about how he's being ideological and consistent, he was literally smiling and laughing when protesters in the UCLA because of the Palestinian protests were getting beaten up by the cops. He was happy about that.
The moment of truth, yeah. They're touching the barricade. They sure are. Yep.
Ecstatic about that. He's also called Palestinians inferior culture. This guy's a piece of shit. And on top of that, he gets his information from fucking lollies on goddamn Twitter. One of them being pretty much a Nazi, and just going, they're saying the truth, the exact truth. Because there is no need for the truth here. Again, gamers were not being smeared by the government via Politico. Politico's not even a left-leaning association. It is owned by a right-wing German dude. Like, it is objectively not left-leaning. They wouldn't spend money to smear gamers because gamers aren't that important. No one gives a fuck. But that gamer mentality with the capital G has that permanent persecution complex. They feel like everyone's always out to get them, but no one fucking cares, dude. No one cares. You guys are delusional. And at worst, you're fucking losers. How do you go through life this way? Asmongold's a millionaire. Oh my God, they're coming after me. They want me to suffer, so I want them to suffer. But he can't name them. His life was totally fine, but now he found information that, oh, Politico was attacking him or whatever in gamers, and now his life was ruined. They made him suffer. Made him suffer from success, you guys. Oh my God, how dare they? Then you have other losers like Grums, who cannot be consistent. Well, none of them can be ideologically consistent, but the same people who decry cancel culture are happy for cancel culture. Asmongold hates cancel culture, but he wants people to lose their jobs over doing their jobs. Grums hates cancel culture, unless it's for, his enemies, then he's all love it. They're all for it. The shit going on with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that game was supposed to be their fucking banner game. That was supposed to be a game that was like, fuck you, Veilguard, fuck you, like any kind of Mass Effect or EA game. Here's a real man's game. And now they're literally trying to get the game taken down because of, I don't know if I can say it's on YouTube, so I'll just say inappropriate relationships. A rather Dr. Disrespect situation. And even though that may or may not be true, they now want to take that down, which would fall in line with cancel culture, also censorship, which they claim to hate, yet consistently promote. These people are losers. They are insecure losers. And that is why so many of them gravitate towards the right. To become right-wing, right-leaning, the more and more right you go, the less is required of you. They don't want you to be better. They don't want you to be critical. They don't want you to think about anything. They want you to regurgitate. They want you to be upset. You have, again, Asmongold just looking at tweets from other grifters and saying, oh, this must be true because why would they lie? It's all vibes for them. It's all feelings, no facts. They hate facts because the truth is rarely, if ever, on their side. So they have to do this. I was on Twitter and one of my mutuals, Airbagged, posted a tweet where Grums is talking about how he hates cancel culture and cancel pigs. And then he is actively wanting to cancel something game related. And on top of that, he's so obsessed with Alyssa Rakante. All these losers are. Even though she no longer works for Kotaku, they're so obsessed with her, they can't stop messaging her. Even in my comment section, with videos that have nothing to do with her, people are mentioning her because they need a boogeyman. And these men, these big bad men, always go after women. Always. No matter what. No matter fucking what. They are losers. And I need you guys to understand that. These people are eternal losers because they are eternal victims. They will sit again and tell you that me talking about, for example, Ubisoft, about Assassin's Creed, and me talking about the blatant racism about that is actually me shilling for Ubisoft, even though I have had videos directly addressing my issues with Ubisoft. Because I am a consistent person. They are not consistent in their positions. I am consistent. A lot of people who are more middle or left have more consistency with their opinions because they are forming their own opinions and not having their opinions told to them. Again, you are seeing Asmongold get his opinions from other fucking right-wing grifters. He does no research on his own. He sees someone say something, takes it at face value. That's how they operate. That's why they believe that Sweet Baby Inc. is this big fucking boogeyman that has somehow, again, going back to earlier, is super weak and impudent, which is why all the games they make fail, but is also powerful enough to be part of every single game that has come out. To the point where it's its own adjective. They consistently use Sweet Baby Inc. for everything that they do. But it's a company of like 11 people from Canada. But it's super powerful. These guys are consistently winning. They do nothing but win. And yet, every time a game comes out, they have to bitch about it. But they won gaming. So wouldn't they be in charge of what's happening? Oh, but the woke is too powerful. There's so much wokeness in gaming. But you just said DEI and wokeness is dead and gone. Do you understand how inconsistent they have to be? Because if they actually got to brass tacks and actually complained about stuff, they'd realize that it was shit that people like me have been saying for years. All of the problems they have with the current gaming industry is due to capitalism. It is due to crunch. It is due to these unrealistic expectations from executives and investors that a game will make X amount of money if you input Y amount of money, right? You can't rely on that. And we've seen that consistently. With Dragon Age Velgar, it sold 1.5 million. But EA was like, it should have sold more. And then you come to find out that they didn't even truly support the game. They wanted it to be a live service. Monolith put out a trailer for Wonder Woman like years ago and went silent. And then we find out that they rebooted it because it had basically live service elements. They want to make everything live service. They don't understand the market. They don't understand that that takes a lot of time. And new IPs going immediately live service are competing with older established IPs like Fortnite, like Roblox. And they just simply can't, at least not in that regard. That's a different conversation. That's a more nuanced conversation. It has nothing to do with a black person or a trans person or a woman being in charge. So they're not interested in that. They don't want to have real conversation because they're not capable of real conversation. And they're incapable of that because they're losers who follow an ideology that abhors critical thinking. They don't want you thinking at fucking all. That's why you can look at any of their videos, any of their tweets, and there is not a shred of critical analysis at all. Everything's face value. My most recent video I did talking about that YouTuber who somehow with like 40K subscribers got an exclusive insider interview with an Ubisoft employee wants you to just take that at face value. And what they'll also do is if they have anyone who is representative of a minority group, they will use them as a shield. They did that shit in Gamergate. Hashtag not your shield, right? But they consistently do that now because they need to avoid any sort of critical thinking or criticisms. That's how it operates. That is why you have Asmongold reading from a lolly PFP, which is pretty much, I believe, also a Nazi, and taking it at face value. It feels right to them because they've been conditioned to feel that way. Yeah, the government, the fucking government was like, we gotta target gamers. Like, do you know how insane that is? That would be like if they found the government gave money to Microsoft and it was because they had a subscription to Microsoft Office 365 and they're like, oh my God, they own Xbox too. That's why all these Xbox games have been so woke, because the government, yeah, our government is super woke. So woke that they were arming Israel. Super fucking woke, you guys. They're such hardcore lefties. But the real problems isn't, gross inequality in this country. It isn't, again, supporting a genocide. No. There's too many big titty anime women. So we're going to be the government and we're going to pay Microsoft to make games that have less attractive women. Like, that's the logic these people have. Oh, the government had a subscription service to Politico. No, that's too easy. They must have been using their money in order to smear Gamergate. As if Gamergate needed help smearing. As if it wasn't a blatant misogynistic hate campaign against women. Like, goddamn. These people are fucking morons and they're losers. And all they do is whine and complain about every game that has ever come out in the last fucking 5 years. Oh, it's all these modern games, these modern audiences. You are the modern audience. Like, you're not playing fucking GoldenEye 64 every single day. You're hopping on Fortnite. Guess what? That's a modern ass game with multicolored hair people and a bunch of different IPs and all that shit. Shit that you would hate. It screams of diversity. You would hate that shit. You're not complaining about that. These guys act like they're so tough, but if you have a woman in charge or you play as a female character and they can't jerk off to you, it's the end of the fucking world. No one should be taking these guys seriously. You should be doing what I've been doing. You should be debunking their shit and ridiculing them. They have no place in gaming. You have someone like Asmongold, this huge platform, who's saying was kind of a political streamer or whatever, with no understanding of the politics he's espousing, and is just like, oh yeah, no, that's right, that's true, No, yep, that's how these people have to suffer. But they gotta suffer.
By the way, Google did not fire these people for protesting. Google fired these people for not doing their job. That's why they got fired. It's not that they, they attended a protest on their own time and then they got fired for it. No. Disrupting everybody else. Exactly, yeah.
And then, like, the guy who's quote tweeting it from is just like, you should have never came for us gamers. You should have left the games alone. Like, do you understand how big of a loser you have to be to say shit like that? Like, that is legitimate loser shit. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. That is loser shit. How can you people be real? How are people even entertaining these guys? They are so beyond the pale of being abject losers. I'm surprised no one's shoving them into lockers. Do not listen to these guys. Everything that they say is just objectively wrong. And when they talk about games, they're not talking about from any sort of critical standpoint. They're not talking about with an understanding of like how games work, right? They will attribute a game like Concord for failing not because of the obvious shit, like putting $400 million into a game, wanting a brand new IP to cost $40 when there's other IPs that are free. Like, they will not consider any of that. It's just because, well, the characters are ugly. Because there's never been a game that had characters people didn't find physically attractive that ever did well. Nope. Every single game was super hot characters. Every game ever come out has only had hot characters. Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, super hot. Earthworm Jim, a babe. Like, their stuff is not consistent. But it's easy. It's easy. That's why they do it. They want things to be easy and simple. That's why they get so mad when they have to think for longer than 2 seconds. That's why you see people like Asmongold get filtered out of games that require more strategy than Unga Bunga, right? Because being able to think critically and deeply is the antithesis of their ideology. And they have conditioned themselves and their audience to be that way. I am trying to decondition you guys. Be critical of the media you consume. If you don't like something, understand why you don't like it. I can tell you, and I've told you why I don't like Ubisoft. I will link the video. I have told you why I don't like certain things. I tell you why I like certain things. I can articulate my point. They can't. Go suffer through their content. Watch any of these grifters I've mentioned in my playlist. Watch any of their content. See if they're actually able to articulate their point without relying on things like DEI, woke, ESG, something like that. How can they articulate their actual point? See if they can do that. They won't be able to. That's why they all parrot the same things. When enough people say something, it sort of just becomes truth, even if it's not objectively true, right? Go watch their stuff. I'm serious. Go see it. Go see their stuff and then compare it to my stuff or someone who's like me and see who's able to articulate their point. See whose point makes actual logical sense and doesn't rely on pure emotional responses. Notice how their shit is always something like, they want you dead, they want me dead, they want my family dead, they want to kill us, they want this. They want to elicit an emotional response immediately so this turns off. Don't fall for that. Keep this on and listen to what they say. It's why you see me doing a lot more like reaction content, right? I know that's considered lazy work, whatever, but I think it helps because it shows you in real time that if you are actually critical of what they're saying, nothing they're saying makes any sense. Like, literally at all. But that's enough from me. I'm sweaty. I'm in the gym, so I'm take a shower. But yeah, if you watch this video this long, I'm so sorry I was ranting and kind of went off script, but if you also like my content, you kind of know I do that all the time. So, okay, bye.